everyone. So today we are going to the next module, which is globalization and its effects on Indian society. So before going into this topic, when we have an analysis of the questions of the previous year questions that are being asked from this particular topic of globalization, we can see that more or less the questions are repetitive in nature. Like the questions will be globalization and its effects on one particular specific section of the society will be asked, be it working women or be it elderly people. So likewise, question can be expected from this particular topic of globalization. So after studying this topic, it is very much important to note this, that is, you should have a note of your own in a way that is what is globalization and how globalization has affected the different sections of the society. Okay, and these sections actually you must think in a multi-dimensional view, and you can actually figure out many sections of the society, and you can write the effects of globalization on these sections of society in a multitude of ways, because there are many sections, there are many communities that you can think out of a society. So it is very important to prepare a note of your own, like what is globalization and its effects on the what all sections of society that you can think of, write it. The positive impacts, the negative impacts. Okay, so that is very important with regard to globalization and its effects, because in the coming years also you can expect likewise questions, that is globalization and its effect on some particular specific sections of the society. Okay, so as I've told earlier, likewise when we say about globalization and its impact, you can see it in a multi-dimensional view, because globalization is not a simple phenomenon. You cannot restrict the process of globalization in the economic sphere alone, because it is having effects or impacts in a multi-dimensional way. So there are economic impacts, definitely. Then there are social impacts, psychological impacts, environmental impacts, political impacts. So there are multi-dimensional points that you can bring out when we talk about the impacts of globalization in Indian society. And when we talk about the impacts on different sections also, you can bring it in a multi-dimensional view, or you can actually bring it out in a multifaceted way, like the impacts on women, the impacts on children, or the youth, the elderly, the working class people, or the SC, STs, Dalits. So there are different sections in society also where you can place the impacts of globalization in a multi-dimensional perspective. So this is how you should approach globalization and its impact on society. So in syllabus, when you see, it is like just a sentence like globalization and its effects on Indian society. So it is not given in a very elaborate sense, like which all are the sections. So what all sections you can think of, be you should have a much like handmade copy of your own note, like what are its impacts on different sections of the society, right? Okay, now let's move on to the topic. So while we are starting with globalization, we can say, like, whenever a question is asked with respect to globalization topic, the answer which you actually write can be well started with a decent introduction saying about what is globalization. So simple definition with regard to globalization that you should have in your hand. So regarding globalization, when we say, it is actually the increasing global interconnectedness. Okay, we know that in today's or in present world, it is not possible for a nation to stand alone, or it is not possible for a country to stand alone. So there is this need of interconnectedness or integration among the countries or among the economies, right? So there is this increasing global interconnectedness, which is simply called globalization. Or we can say that it is a complex phenomenon. Globalization is a complex phenomenon. It is not simple, or it is not restricted with the economic sphere. So it is a complex phenomenon. And what does it include? It is including the integration of the economy of the country with the global economy, right? That is integration of economy of the country with global economy. So this particular integration and interconnectedness is what is known as globalization. But it does not, though we say that it is the integration of the economy, we are not restricting the concept of globalization to the economic sphere alone, because it is having its impacts in a wide range, or in a broader sense we can say that it is referring to the free movement of people, products, services, knowledge, ideas, technology, everything. Okay, it is, in a broader sense we can say that it is the free movement of, or the less restricted movement of people, ideas, knowledge, services, goods, technology, everything. So this is what is constituting the concept of globalization. Or we can say that there is this interchange or exchange of economic, social, cultural, political, technological attributes which occur when different societies come into close contact with each other. Okay, when the different societies of different countries, when they come into close contact with each other, there occurs an interchange, or there occurs an exchange of the economic, political, cultural, technological, all these attributes or aspects. So that is what is globalization is referring to, right? So in simple terms, you should have a definition of what is globalization, right? Now, as I've told earlier, in today's world, it is very difficult for a country to stand alone. So it is here actually the concept of globalization is aiming towards, or we can say it is transforming the world into greater interdependence, and integration. Okay, there is this interdependence or interconnectedness of countries that is taking place in globalization, together with the integration of their economies, right? So that is the concept of globalization. So when we say about globalization, we know that globalization, or the concept of globalization, came to our society with the LPG reforms of 1991. That is liberalization, privatization and globalization. So what were the drivers for LPG reforms? Okay, you will be knowing about it. So it is like, we know that in 1990 we were having a financial crisis. India was facing a financial crisis, mainly because in the that is during the initial period of, or during the initial years of economic planning, actually Indian economy was highly regulated, or we can say that it was rigidly regulated, or it was state regulated in a much more sense. In the initial years of economic planning, be it from the 1950s to 1990.